Hello friends, welcome to MES e-learning channel. This session we are going to discuss on Boston Consulting Group matrix. This is also known as, or rather popularly known as, BCG matrix. In this session we are going to find out how does it work, what are its plus points, what are its drawbacks, where it is used, how it is to be used, and what are the ingredients which makes into it. Before that, let's understand what are the things which can be marketed. Finally, BCG matrix is nothing but to make an analysis as to how the companies evaluate their performance of many products. Like the first and foremost important thing which runs across is the types of things which you can market is to put it simply, G S E square P cube O I square. Now what is G? G stands for goods. Any products which can be felt, which can be physically seen, comes into the criteria of goods. Next comes is your services. You may be taking examples of many services, like for example, technical expertise. When your AC gets any technical problems, you call up a service engineer. What is it? It's a services. You take help of Swiggy for home delivery of foods. No broker com. That's one of the best example. Why? Because if you look at it, what does the portal do? The portal gets the buyer as well as sellers minus the brokerage, and it gets the services access, right? Next comes is events. To give an example, we can talk about Mumbai Marathon, Olympiad, or our own Alegria. These are all the things which can be marketed, right? Next comes is experience. Most of the time, if you have come across any CV of any professional, what does the word start with? Professional with X number of years of experience in supply chain, logistics, various things. So this is again being marketed. Next comes is P cube. The first one is place. To give you a few example, if you look at it, let's take an example of various states. Kerala, how does it promote itself? As far as tourism is concerned, Kerala, God's own country. Maharashtra, our own Maharashtra, how does they market themselves? Unlimited. You talk about Assam, how do they market themselves? Awesome. Then you talk about Madhya Pradesh, how do they marathon themselves, or they market themselves? Heart of incredible India. You talk about Meghalaya, they say halfway to heaven, right? There are many other such events which goes out. Next comes is person. Celebrity marketing is one of the best example which we can talk about. Last is your properties. Take any of the Lodha Group's example. You will find how the properties are being marketed. You talk about any builder, like let's take about Panvel. A decade ago, no one was ready to come towards Panvel. But today, lot of big projects are coming across. What do they say? Close proximity to the new airport. The airport is yet to come, but this is how they are marketing it. Oh, next is O. O stands for organization. You may be wondering why companies need to market themselves. See, selling a product is one of the aspect of the business, but they also would like to know themselves from the market point of view. Like for example, LG, how do they market themselves? Life is good. You talk about Red Bull, what do they say? Take risk. Then you talk about Philips, what do they say? How do they market themselves? Together you and me will make life better. You talk about Toyota, what they say? Let's go places, right? This is how it works out. Then comes his information. In this, we can give an examples of schools, universities. Like for example, any student wants to know about our Pillai Institute. What do? We have our own website. They get into it, they found out all those details, what are the courses available, how they fit in, these are the things. Books can be sold, ideas can be sold, right? Next comes is ideas. Right? Here in this, anything new which was not tried in the market, it's a new concept and it works out, this can be marketed. You may be not in a position to recollect, but a decade ago, before the advent of mobile, there was a device called Motorola pager. If you can recollect it, what was it? It was a communication device wherein the buyer could just pass on a message to the seller saying, okay, please call me up. The message used to be flashed down his device and he couldn't get in touch with this. So these are something new ideas and concepts. Having known what are the types of things which we can market? Let's get into the 4Ps. Traditionally, as far as marketing point of view is concerned, the 4Ps are product, price, place, and promotion. Now, what are the modern aspects? They are people, process, program, as well as performance. These are the difference what has happened over a period of time. Marketer or the companies should ensure that they adhere to the 4As. The companies, in order to successfully canvas or rather sell their product, the 4As has to be taken care of. First is acceptability. What does it mean? It means the company has to check to which level the product difference or the product offer exceeds the customer's expectation. See, if you're keeping on, like in the age of laptop, do you think anyone would be interested in purchasing a typewriter? No. So that has to be acceptable. Though both the device, whether it is a typewriter or a laptop, what we are doing is we are just typing a letter or a drafting anything. But since acceptability of laptop is more convenient as compared to a laptop, that's one aspect. Next is affordability. When you say affordability, what I mean is the company should be in a position to understand or rather to ascertain to what extent the customers would be ready to accept the product at what price. There are two dimensions, one is economical as well as psychological. Let's take an example. How does the timing factor also plays a crucial role? Let's say, for example, you as a student, you require a laptop. Ask or demand it from your parents during Diwali time, what would happen? You would be surprised. The response would be, since it's a one-time activity, why don't you purchase a better version, right? The same thing you ask during the financial year closing, that is March, and what do you get? Right? There are every chances that your request would be rejected. Next is accessibility. Most important thing, which is for me will be the most important factor among these 4As, is accessibility. If your product is not reachable, if you are not in a position to offer the product to the customer at the place where he requires, then there are every chances that the customer may look out for alternate options. So accessibility should be taken care of it. Next is awareness. What happens if your product is available but the customers are not aware about it? What do? So you have to constantly keep on marking, like the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind, right? You need to always keep in mind that you have to be constantly figuring out to the customer that I am available, I am available, I am available. This is what you need to mark. And most important things, see, sales anybody can do. Any company can sell. What is the most important thing is the repeat sales. This needs to be worked in. Having understood the concept of what are the types of marketing or what are the types of goods which can be marketed or the types of services which can be marketed, and understanding the 4Ps and 4As, we'll drop down to what is BCG matrix. It's actually a management tool used by company for what? To analyze and categorize the product. Just have a look at this diagram and you will come to know. It's a simple block consisting of 4 blocks, starting with question mark, star, cash cow, and dog. Any of the product, whatever we discuss now, it can be goods, services, event, everything, always falls under these 4 categories. There are 2 major aspects into it. Vertically, you have market growth rate. And the vertical is relative market share. There are only 4 categories. First is question mark, star, cash cow, and dog. Now, what happens is, if you look at the question mark, what does it say? It operates in high growth market, but it's a relatively new market, right? Market share is very less. Here, the expense is too high. Why? The reason is very simple. The manufacturer or the company has to invest heavily on the 3M, that is men, material, and machinery, right? So you need to think, or the marketer or the company need to think whether it is worth to invest the money in that. Next comes star. This can be simply said it as competition. What does it mean? It means it has a high growth market, it has a largest market share, but doesn't necessarily produce the profits. Why? Because like I said earlier, here the companies need to spend too much of this thing, making the people aware that I am available in the market. So not necessarily the product may be making profits, but definitely the expense on the promotion aspect will be too high. Any product which is successfully coming into, I mean, it has been accepted by the company, it will come into the competition category. To give an example, Motorola pager. The pager was a question mark. We were not sure whether the product would survive or not survive. It came back, it went into the star category and finally went into the dogs category. Why? The reason was very simple, because the product, pager was a useful product, but however there was an advanced product in terms of mobile which came across, and as a result it lost its relative share. Take another example of radio. In the advent of TV arrival, what happened? People got a better opportunity. Earlier in radio they just could hear, whereas in television what happened? They could see. So probably what happened? People slowly started drifting towards from radio to television. There came a time when the TVs took place and the radios just wiped out of the market. They came into the dogs category, but today again they are bounced back into star category. How did they do this? They evolved themselves, which is a constant requirement for any product to survive. They came in the form of mobile and today just worked out. Again, they are facing a competition. For what reason? Because with the advent of new channels like Spotify, there are many others, I can't recollect the names, you will find that for these channels you don't require internet or you don't require a connection. Whereas in radio, there are every chances that there will be discommunication when you pass traveling through a train, through a tunnel, there are breakups. So finally, if you look at it, the customer's convenience is more important as compared to the other one. Next is your cash cow. Here, this is the most important element as far as company is concerned. Why? Because A, it's a star with a following growth rate, but has the largest market share. If you look at it, it has got the largest market share. It produces a lot of cash. This cash in turn can be utilized for the star category product which are there in the star and which needs some push to go about it, right? Since it is a market leader, it is enjoying an economy of scale and also has a high profit margin. The company should maintain and form that how to milk it as much as possible, because this is a golden era as far as any product is concerned. So cash cow is one of the elements. Last is the dog. Now what is a dog? You might have heard the saying, flourish or perish. Right now you are in the perish category. If you don't improve yourself, then there are every chances that you will be going out, and hence if you need to flourish, evolve yourself, upgrade yourself and then come out. That's what the example I gave you of radio. What happened? At the advent of TV, the product got diminished in the market, it came to the dogs category, again it bounced back with a new formation, right? This is what all BCG talks about. Now let me make it very clear. This data or this BCG matrix is used by the company for what reason? Because it helps them to understand which product to invest, which product to divest, right? Which product to maintain. And the most important thing is it tells you what are the growth strategies, what are the opportunities, and what are the potential threats. Now, like I said, BCG matrix has its own strength, but there are drawbacks also. Why? Because it doesn't consider the other factors which are also important in understanding or analyzing the product in the market share, for like profitability, competition, market fondness, etc. This can be at the most a report card which any student gets, right? How he has fared in his subject, which subject and all this thing. So there are other factors also which like GE matrix, General Electric matrix, modules. These are all the things which helps in understanding a deep down approach. This just gives a basic elementary as to how your product is performing. This is all. Hope you understand. That's all. Thanks a lot.